And now this is building to this guy over here, which has enough similarities to be sort of the same spiritual class, I suppose, but enough differences to where this concept is fully realized as its own independent puzzle with a lot more similarities to this guy. This is the closest thing you're going to get to a mass-produced version of the Raptor Skewb. So, how do we approach this one? Well, the first thing to do is let's go ahead and rotate all of these trivial tips. It kind of gets us in the mood for solving and gives us a little bit of boost in our confidence. The difference is every one of these trivial tips can be moved, which is why I feel that this is the fully evolved version of this concept. Okay, there it is. Now, we can go about the same process, maybe reduce all these, but I'm going to do something different with this one. Notice with these guys, we reduce them to Skewbs and solve them as Skewbs. Here, we're not going to do that. We're going to reduce this actually to a dino puzzle, which means we're going to end up reducing these guys and solving it as such. But to do that, I have to reduce all of these. I have to reduce the centers. I have to reduce these x's and then reduce these corners and then solve them as dinos. So how are we going to do that? So I want to think of the easiest way of doing this. And what we're going to do first is let's go ahead and take these terminal colors here and match them up so that we know how they're supposed to be coordinated. So here's a green. Where's my other greens? Here's another green over here. So I'm going to turn this to here. This gets turned. Now I got spoiled by these puzzles because, well, they move so well. Remember, this puzzle is a tragedy. And this goes here. So I'm actually not reducing the corners here. This is going to be an alternative reduction. Now notice these colors are different, which means I do have to Skewb things into place. So if we're going to do green, this is green and red. So these Skewb moves will tell me how I'm supposed to coordinate the puzzle. That's all fine. I need the green and white, which is right here. So let's move this into place, and let's turn this over here. Sometimes the movement seems good, but I can't let that fool me. I have been fooled before. This goes here, and then we're going to turn this to here. Okay. So these are all coordinated. Now what's more, we have to make sure that it's coordinated with the center. So I did this a little bit wrong. This is the center over here, so let's coordinate these guys like so. This will go here by this center, and let's quickly get this back in the right way. This goes over to here, and I need the other green center, green and red, which is this guy here. Just go ahead and twist this guy here, turn him up, and then we'll twist this guy over here. Okay, so this is correct over here with this center. Turn it upside down and we're going to do the same kind of a Skewb solve. This red center is good, this is not. So this is where it needs to be, which means I need to put this orange where it needs to be. So I'm going to take this and move it up. So down, down, up, up. Move this into here, down, down, up, up. So I'm doing once again a coordinated Skewb solve, coordinating it to see if it's in the right position. This red will go here, down, down, up, up. And now this will come down to here, down, down, up, up. And the white will come down to here, down, down. What I'm doing is I'm just doing a Skewb solve. So get your centers in, coordinated with this. If I move too fast for that one, let me know, but I just basically solved it as a Skewb, putting these centers in. So please refer to Skewb tutorials to see how I coordinated these centers with these corners. Maybe I moved too fast to that one. Anyway, this is easy. I can just manually rotate it. So let's get all the oranges in. This goes here. All the whites are in. I got to get this to the red over here. Or what I can say is just rotate all the blues up. Now I do have to move slower with this because this is a mass-produced puzzle. So it's fair game in terms of tutorial territory. Okay, we get into this position. All the corners are aligned with the centers. Again, I feel bad that I went a little fast with that, but this is tiptoeing off these tutorials here. Maybe we'll go back and do that later, who knows. What I want to do now is I want to fill these in. So if we were to start off with the ones that are the most filled, I'm basically going to make an X. You can see a lot of these whites are in, I might as well do that. And I want to keep it coordinated like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a dino move to move this in. I'm going to treat these like they were tips. So what I could do is move this like so. Okay, so I did a dino move in. Okay, I'm going to skewb it out of the way. Now notice what I did is I moved a red one out of the way. It would be nice if I can exchange this with red, but I'm actually putting it in the red position here. So I'm going to move this here, skewb this out of the way, dino it down, skewb it back. Okay, in that way I'm not going to take out my configuration, but this white one was placed. Think of these as the tips of a pyraminx as well. So I'm going to use them as such, only placing these in as an extension of this piece here. I can't move it from this angle, but I can from this. So let's do another white one. It's not these that I'm using, or these, it's these pieces. So where might this go? Well, this can be skewbed where? So if I do a dino move here, I could skewb this like that. Boom. I'm bumping out a blue, but I'm not by a blue. This is actually blue over here. So what I can do is move this here, skewb it in. Now do I have a blue one here? Nope. So I'm just going to take this, dino this in a position where this is not placed yet. Skewb it back, and then dino it back. Boom. So this is in. Now remember I dinoed this. Now it's not as necessary to keep coordinating it, but it might be easier to see. Okay. So now this is in. So I've really got one more to create my X. So where's another white in that position? And that's right over here. Okay, so let's see what kind of a dino move it will be able to get skewbed into this position. And that is right here. Boy, you can see the mechanism just buckling, trying to not do nice things. Anyway, I'm going to move it away from an orange, and there's an orange right here. So if I put this to the white one, and I replace it with this yellow one, not orange, but yellow, replace this here, and now skew it back, and that actually did place this orange as well. Now I'll move this back into here. So we've created this. Let's go ahead and dino this back into place. Boom. So now we've got the cross, and we've opened these up to have reduction of these dino steps over here. Okay, I guess we might as well do this one here. So where's another orange? Here's an orange here that can go in. So what I'm going to do, in this case, I'm going to just rotate it in. So it's rotated in. Now I got to skewb it out of the way, and I'm actually placing this yellow one in, then dino this back down, and then skewb it back down. In that way I've placed this, and I've also placed that. Okay, so where's another yellow, orange rather. Here's another orange here. So let's rotate this so that it's in a closer configuration to getting to here. I guess it'll be over here. Now what this will do, well, what's going to make this go in? Okay, it's got to come from here. Had it right the first time. Okay, so now it would be nice if I can put a red one in. This one's already spoken for, this one is not. I don't have the red one to exchange with, to line up with this, but that's okay for now. Move this orange in, skewb it in, dino this out of the way, skewb it back, dino this back. We might as well go ahead and dino this back here as well. Okay, so we've got this one as well. So we've got X and X, and we'll just keep going. There's no real specific order. So here's a green. This green can come into here. Do we have any dino moves? No. Or skewb moves that can impact this? And no. So maybe what I should do is I should put these yellow ones in instead. Again, it doesn't really matter. There's no specific order. Or maybe we'll do blue. Yeah, let's do blue. Because this can come into here somewhere. This will come into here. these are all spoken for, so here's what we could do. We could send this out and put the red one in. Okay, we'll just put the red one in here, and it will knock the blue one out, and we'll put any one of these here. So bring this down, rotate this, bring this up, rotate this back here. I just put the red one in, and I did that so that I can move the blue to here. So in that way, I can cast this green. I can now place this green to here and then replace it with this blue. So I'm going to skewb this green down, so we got it here, dyno this blue in place, and now skewb it back up. So in that way I did put this in here, and I actually put a green one here and a red one here. I can dyno this back, and you can see we've started to assemble this here. Okay, some more blues. So here's one over here. Let's go ahead and skewb this, or dyno this up here. So this is a green one that is going to leave, and here's a green one here, so that works out pretty well. This is also a yellow one here. Okay, just depends on what I want to do. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to put the green one in because this red one has to make it to here. So I will move this up here to match with the blue. I'm going to move this out to put the yellow one in place, and I bumped out a yellow, so now this yellow will match up, and this red is now down here. And there's a reason that I did that. I'm going to, boom, okay. The reason why I did that is now this is free to interact with these guys. So if I wanted to, I can just keep this here for now, take this, well, okay, I'll come back to that. I've set it up to get done. I'm also setting this up to pop like crazy. So you can see pieces are crumbling even as I do this. You have to decide if this is worth it to you. If lubricated right and dealt with right, then maybe it's worth it, but I'll let you make that decision for yourself. Okay, so this needs to come into here. All of these are solved, which means I can't bring it down to here because there's nothing else that I can use. Bring this into this position, and I'm in a little bit of a trouble because these are all solved as well, unless this red one. So this blue can come up to here, but I have no other place to turn it to. Unless, no, and no, I'm looking, okay, this red one is not spoken for. So I'm going to do a little bit of a deconstructive move. I'm going to do a skewb move to move this in line so that this can be exchanged. So let's not get confused. Remember, this blue belongs up here, but I have nothing to rotate it into. So I'm going to move this here to rotate it into this. Okay? So that means we're going to skewb it up, dyno this over to here, and skewb it back down. Now let's very quickly dyno this back to here and do our reconstruction with our skewb back up here. So now this is in, and I did not take these out, and everything is fine. So, whoops, bang. Now I should say, rather than do each cross, what I really should do is I should do it like the tips. I should solve each one of these individually because I'm going to run into trouble. So let me change perspectives a little bit. This is in, and this is in, and not in. Let's just go ahead and put this in from a place where it belongs, which is right here. Now you can see all these are in. So that's I'm gonna run into some trouble with that. But let's not worry about that. Let's take some of these out because well, unless, here's a green one here. Yeah, I think the best thing to do is do each one of these individually. I'm actually going to deconstruct this one a little bit. So I'm going to go like so, move this up. So sorry about the change in strategy midway through, but you can understand what I'm talking about. So this is in. So these are all in, these are all in. Let's go ahead and get all of these in. So let's see, this red one belongs here, this green one belongs here. I've got this one to choose from. Okay, so I'm going to move this into position. This red one will come up to here, and then this green will end up here. So we're going to move this up to get to the red. I'm going to move this green one into position. And then move it down. So now this green one is in and red one is in. Bang. Okay, we'll cautiously turn this back. All right, so here's what we have. We're actually going to do it corner by corner. So this is all in, this is all in, this is all in, and this is all in. So now we just do these corners here. These two are in. I need a green one. A red one rather. So that's going to come from here. So what I'm going to do, well, actually, this red, well, which ones aren't in yet? This isn't in. I've got this one left. I've got this one left. And I've got this one left. Okay. So this orange can come into here. It'll knock this red one out, but it can be replaced by this. So let's go ahead and move this up. So this yellow one is in, rather, not orange. Move this in, bring this back down. So I've not taken this one out. Bring this back down over here. So this is solved. So what do we have left? This is not in, and this is not in. Is that it? Nope, this is not in also. Let's get this one in here too. This is a green one. This is a red one. Let's move this over here. Move this down. Turn this. Bring this green one in. So this is all done. Okay, so this isn't done. And this isn't done. And there's both similar colors. All the rest of these corners are done. So again, when doing this, make sure that you're doing it corner by corner. Don't make the cross like I initially did, because you're going to run into some trouble with that. It's just a little more difficult of deconstruction. Just put all of your 3 corners in. So now we're down to the last 2 corners, and that's going to make it a lot easier. These 2 are out, and these 2 are out. So let's find a position by which we can start putting them in. And the problem is they are next to each other. So because of that, that does make it difficult. So it's best not to have your last 2 right next to each other. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have to get this in and take another one out. And the way that that's going to work is, let's just pick. Well, this one can be used actually. So here's a red one. There's no specificity with this, so I can take this red one. First I have to figure out how to move it without popping it. Something like that. Okay, so this red one can end up to here. So let's move this out of the way here. Take this red one, move it up. This is now in. The blue one was knocked out of the way, but that's okay. I can move this to here. The blue one will come back, and this red one will come back down to here. So bang. So now this is all done, and I've even put this red one in. I didn't do any harm. Boom. Okay, so that leads me to just these 2, and we're going to do something similar. Which one can fall into where? Well, this red can fall into here. So we're going to take this. It'll bump this blue one out, but then we're going to move it into here, and then this red one can occupy this spot. So move the red one in, turn this, move it out. So now all these corners are done, and as you can see, when I rotate this, I have myself an X on every side. So what I've done is I've reduced these parts by just using these as like the corner of a pyraminx and just putting them in. It's really the same way that I dealt with these guys, Same way that I dealt with these guys. I use the same principle, I just used these. Neglecting these for now. Okay, so the next step is reduction of these steinocenters. So how are we going to do that? Well, we've seen this strategy before. We've actually done it with this, and we've done it with this. We've even done it with this as well. So it's a standard face-turning octahedral strategy. And what it entails is basically building these two, building it here as well, and then joining them together. So here's what I mean. You see that this already has a red and a blue, so we see a 2x2 and a 2x2 here. It might be easier to demonstrate with this. So let's look at the green and red. I've already got a green and red with a green one lined up. So let's look for another green and red. Should be around here somewhere. Right over here. But I want this to be joined not with the green side, but with the red side. So what Skewb move will put a red side in? And by the way, I don't have to keep these X's joined up. As long as I have these reduced, I can move them and not worry about it. So here's a red. I just have to remember every Skewb move I do, I have to move it back. And this red is going to come from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it in, and when I move it in, I've got to exchange it with something from here. So I'm going to move it in. So now I've got the red one bound here. Now let's exchange it with this by going up, up, down, and down. And now I've got to remember to Skewb it back. Luckily, this is still maintained here, so we Skewb it back. Okay, so now as I search for this, here's a green and red bound with a red, and here's a green and red bound with a green. So now where do I got to go to move them into each other, to reduce them? I go like this, and if I move it, oh, let's try it again. Here we go. Okay, it's going to come in from this angle here. Okay, so it's going to come like that, and you can see it's reduced. Okay, this was about to give a big almighty pop. I got too confident. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it in like so, and now exchange it with this by going down, down, up, up, and then we move it back. Okay, so we have one that's reduced, and I just keep doing that. So here's a yellow, an orange and white bound with a white. Where's the other orange and white? Right over here. Let's bind this with an orange. So let's find an orange piece. It's got to come from this side over here, perhaps. So let's maybe move it in with this. So I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure that this one is okay to be used. I move this into here, and we'll go turn, turn. You never know when this is going to make a huge pop, so stay tuned for that. I hope it doesn't, but maybe it will. Turn, and now this moves back. Okay, here are my orange and whites. So again, I'm totally free to move this any way that I want. These have already been reduced. Like this. And like this. And like this. Okay, so same thing. This will come into here. This is not used yet, so down, down, up, up, and then this comes back in. Okay, I see these two are staring at me, so is there a red and white that's already in? And yeah, this is bound with the red, this is bound with white, so it's already been pre-assembled for me. So move it in, how do they let this get off the assembly line? Down. Such a great concept, such a poor execution. Such a tragedy. Up, up, and move this back. So really, it's kind of the same thing that you've already seen with these puzzles. We just had the added intrigue of lining these guys up, creating an X. But I really shouldn't have stressed creating an X, but just lining these up. Looking at these as though they're corners, which they are, and then reducing these so that we can now put these guys in.